Hey everyone, I'm Trevor of the Gyms Near Me podcast and of GoRX Fitness. I am joined today by Eliott Ekindi from UClips, and I'm excited to get into Eliott's background and how he got UClips going and where he wants to go in the future. And we'll get into the conversation. Eliott, thanks for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Trevor.
Yeah.
This.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. We met at Home Gym Con not too long ago in French Lick, and you came by the booth and got to talk with myself and Andrew and some of the other folks that were at the booth. And just tell me a little bit about your background and where you came up with the idea for UClips.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, I'm French. So essentially, I played tennis for roughly 18 years, and
Okay.
I got good enough to play D1, but not good enough to go pro. And so what happens is in Europe, you can't study and play your sport professionally. Well, at least like at a high level.
Okay.
So I went to the US to start playing, and that was in 2019. So my freshman year was the COVID year. So what happened was I played 1 year at the University of Florida. It's in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
Mid the year, the beginning of spring semester, we get the coach that comes in, and he's like, "Well, guys, sorry to tell you, but the program got cut. We don't have any more funding because of COVID."
Oh no.
And so that was kind of a like wake up call. Had to pack my stuff mid-March, I believe. I got a call from my dad. I had to go back to France because the epidemic was starting to get really bad. And so as I was transferring, I had to train for my new university, St. Louis University. But the gyms were closed and the tennis courts were closed, so I was kind of in a rut. But my dad had like these barbells and dumbbell sticks. I don't know what they're called, but the dumbbell bars.
Mm-hmm.
And the typical like I had to use like I'm very lazy, so I hate like putting on the plates and then putting on the collars when I want to increase the weight, take them off, everything. So I was like, I knew about adjustable dumbbells because I'd seen them in my university. And I was like, I can't afford adjustable dumbbells and plates, so I kind of have to like find a way to like maybe use the adjustable dumbbells as plates. And so I was all right. Well, how do I have a mechanical engineering background, by the way. So I was like, okay, how do I pick up the dumbbell? And I was like, all right, I just kind of do like this. I was like, well, that looks like a U. What happens if I just stick a hole through it? And then I did that, and I was like, okay, well, that's cool. And then when I went back to school, in class, we had a class that was essentially fix a problem that you have during COVID with a product. And so again, like I said, I'm lazy. So I just used the same idea that I had during COVID. I was like, all right, well, I thought about this because I kind of needed it. And at the end of the class, I was just trying to get an A and get it done with. But I got a standing ovation, and then the professor was like, well, does this exist? And I'm like, well, I would have thought it otherwise. And she was like, maybe you should try it. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll try it. And that was a very valuable question.
Yeah.
And so from there, it was what I wasn't looking broad enough. So I was initially thinking, how do I optimize dumbbells? And then I realized that I'm not optimizing dumbbells. I'm optimizing the handle of the dumbbell.
Yeah.
And so it went more to like, how do I optimize dumbbells to how do I optimize anything with a handle?
Okay.
And then everything that had to do with like repurposing your weight plates just had to do with like attaching carabiners to it. So it was, the first thing I had to do was like find a way to attach carabiners just simply to it, and that's where the D-rings came from. And then once I started introducing the product to the Home Gym community, a lot of them were saying, well, it'd be good if there would be a rubber padding or something to protect the nerving. So that was like the second main insight I got. And then from there, it was just like iterations on iterations on iterations.
Yeah.
Probably went through like 35. And yeah, since then it's just been improving the product, but I think people like it. And yeah, just kind of 2 years later, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's so funny that you refer to yourself as lazy, but it was just born out of thinking of an idea, and you consider yourself lazy, but it's not actually that lazy to go and make something that solves your own problem, right? The ultimate
Yeah,
laziness would have been to go buy, all of that stuff, and instead you solved your own problem. I think that's awesome. Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate
so
that.
cool. It's funny you mentioned getting your program cut when you were in college. I was in a similar boat. So
Oh,
in
really?
2000 yeah, in 2007 I went to University of Oregon for wrestling, and they cut their program, yeah, as I was
Oh,
entering into my
damn.
freshman year. So I had to scramble and find another school, and yeah, so and then
That
again,
process.
so I wrestled. So wrestling is not a popular sport. It's not a revenue generating sport or anything like that. And so the wrestling teams across the country struggle when it comes to that. And so even my junior year of college at the new school, we got cut. We ended up getting our program back, but we got cut right before the season, and ended up, they told us, hey, this is going to be the last season, all that stuff. And so throughout the entire season, we raised funds and got signatures from people and different things like that, and we're able to save the program. But it was
Wow, you fought your way back.
yeah, it was pretty cool, and they still have that wrestling program at Cal State Bakersfield now. So yeah, it was
That's legendary right
it
there.
was an interesting time in college from that perspective. So
Wait, you said
I
you said
can
you went to Oregon?
I started at University of Oregon. Yeah, because I'm
That's
from the
that's
Pacific
massive
Northwest.
for athletics.
What'd you say?
That's massive for athletics.
Yeah, they are. But Title IX is one of those laws that forces you to make changes or add teams in the event that you add another team. So what happened was University of Oregon added baseball. They added men's baseball as a team,
Yeah.
and they needed to either add multiple women's sports or drop another men's sport, and it was easier for them to just drop another men's sport, and wrestling was the one that
Yep.
went. So
Yeah,
yeah.
very similar problem happened to us as well. It was
Oh,
either
really?
us or like I think it was one of the track teams, and tennis just had to.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's
I feel
tough. I
that.
mean, and the schools are they're driven by, what they can pay for and everything. And so, I don't hold ill will against them. I don't root for them in football or anything like that, but I don't hold any ill will against them. It ended up being, good for me. So I went to Cal State Bakersfield and had a good career there, and was able to get out of school pretty quickly. So
It's good.
that's awesome. Let's get back to the topic of UClips. So to me about kind of your manufacturing process. What did that look like in the beginning? I mean, did you start doing the manufacturing on your own and start creating these, or is that something where you had to hire out and go and find companies that did that?
So at the beginning, all prototyping was made through 3D printing. I think
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
just the norm. But after that, once I made 20 prototypes. So it's an interesting story. Essentially, the 20 prototypes that I made, I went through a website called Factory,
Hmm.
and essentially they allowed me to make 20 prototypes. So they didn't tell me how they made them. And this will be an important detail for the story. But essentially, they made them using a process called step bending.
Hmm.
So the way I was thinking about it was I'd have a sheet of metal, laser cut it the way it needs to be, and then bend it to get to the
Hmm.
appropriate shape. Now the problem is since we didn't want it to bend when it's isometrically loaded, we needed the steel to be thick. And so the problem is when the steel is too thick and you're trying to get a symmetrical bend, the steel has a very high memory, and
Hmm.
so it'll be stiffer on one side than the other, and so it just kind of like it wasn't like like it wasn't symmetrical.
Got it. It would
One
be
side was always higher than
off
the other,
balance.
etc. So exactly, and so that's why they did stem bending, but they never told me. I kind of had to figure it out, and so after the 20 prototypes, I get ghosted by the manufacturer. Well, no, the manufacturer that Factory linked me to ghosted Factory, and Factory couldn't link me back to them.
Okay.
And so we were trying to find a new manufacturer to make it, but no one like was willing to do the prices that I got for the prototypes at a high scale.
Yeah.
And so for a good 6 months, like I was just trying to find manufacturers in the US, but nothing really worked. And so I was doing pre-orders at that stage,
Hmm.
and one day, around the 5 month mark or something, um, one of the pre-orders was the founder of Freak Athlete, Benjamin Elster,
Oh yeah.
and he's like, yeah, where's my UClips? And I'm like, look, man, like I've been trying to make this for the past 5 months. I don't know why no one can make it. And I was very skeptical of going to China. I didn't want to go to China and get ripped off.
Hmm.
Um, and he was like, well, look, I run Freak Athlete. We have some manufacturers in China. If you're willing, we can go there and try it. And I was like, look, if you can solve a problem that I've had for 5 months, I will happily take it, you know?
Hmm.
And 1 month later, it was done. Like the product
Wow.
was made, and like maybe a month and a half later, we were shipping out to customers. But we used a different process. We had to, so we tried the bending there as
Hmm.
well. It didn't work. So what we did was we have like a mold of just a U with no holes in them. And
Hmm.
then for some reason in China, they're able to laser cut, even if the part is like bent, and even cut on the bends. I don't know. I'm not too sure how they do that, but it
Huh.
works, so it doesn't matter. And then yeah, they were able to get it to a price where it was a lot cheaper than making in America. So I was able to drop our price down. And yeah, that's kind of the long way of how I got to manufacturing and distribution.
That's awesome. That's a really cool story that it was by one of your customers, one of your pre-order customers was like, "Hey man, where's my item?" and then helped you
Yeah,
find your manufacturer. That's incredible. That's awesome.
yeah, I got really lucky.
I really like that story. That's cool. So from the standpoint of the UClips right now, do you plan on expanding your product line or anything like that? Are you tinkering around with new items? I'd imagine your
Yeah,
curiosity kind of piques your interest and you start to play around with things.
yeah, it's I think I'll drop a new item in July.
That's awesome.
I'll send you it by DM. I think you'll like it. I can't introduce it right now, but
No, that's okay.
um, yeah. So I actually I'm going full time on UClips now, so
Okay.
I have a lot more time to actually design and take care of the
Hmm.
important stuff. It was very hard with school to like design new
Hmm.
products. The only reason I was able to design something was because of COVID, and I had a lot of time, like everyone at home.
Yeah.
Um, but I have some really cool products I'm thinking of. Um, some of them hardware. One of them is like a programmable, like it's not a smart weight, but it's using smart like weight technology,
Okay.
which is
Awesome.
going to be cool. That's definitely the hardest thing I'm working on right now,
Yeah.
but it's exciting. I'm excited to show you guys what I've been working on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm excited to see it. Congratulations on getting yourself to full time with UClips. That's
Thank
incredible.
you.
That's a tough step to take, right?
Yeah, my girlfriend doesn't like it too much, but we'll make her like it. We'll make her like it.
Well, I mean, she'll probably like the success over time, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think she
Yeah,
will.
that's
Those are the
that's
dates.
exciting. Cool. Well, let's see. As far as the home gym goes, this idea was just mostly born out of being forced to work out at home because you couldn't get into gyms and stuff like that during COVID.
Yeah, yeah. It was purely out of necessity.
Hmm.
Just picture a broke college student that needs to train for their sport and
Yep.
has very limited equipment. That's why like on the website and everything, I'll always like say like we're trying to optimize gym equipment. We're trying to optimize what you
Hmm.
already have, versus like making something completely new. Because when I was on the market, I didn't have the money to afford it. So I was like, I need to make the most of what I have already, and that's kind of the motto. Just I think right now the products I'm making have shifted to like versatile products. Um, because I can't think of another Euclid. It was actually kind of hard to think of like all the different like it's a very new concept. So it's like it was tough
Yeah.
it's tough to think of a new concept, but now that I understood what people like, what people don't like, it's kind of like, okay, how do I put as much as what people like into one product? Which is my mentality when I'm making a new product right now. So yeah, I'd say out of necessity, and the future products that I'm making, I'm trying to picture myself in my perfect home gym and just kind of making products that would be in there, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. That's awesome. Have grandiose plans for your home gym when that comes time.
Yeah. When I finally settle down into the house, I'll know what's going in the basement or the garage.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, that's an exciting future, right? Um, so growing up in France, did you have a home gym back in France as well, or just the home gym kind of vibe started when you were forced to work out at home through COVID?
So I had a home. Well, I had dumbbells at home,
Yeah.
and then the barbell as well
Hmm.
with the plates. At my dad's place and at my mom's place, I bought like an actual rack and the adjustable dumbbells from Bowflex, and then I just
Oh
stole
yeah.
my dad's plates. Um,
Okay.
so I had the opportunity to work out at home. I'm I'm much more of a home gym guy than a gym guy, just simply because I think it's more effective. Like it's just so much less time to just
Yes.
go get your work
Agreed.
done, come back. So I think that's where the real value was for me. So yeah, I did have a home gym in both my parents' place, but I guess it's their home gym.
Hmm.
I can't say it's
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I echo that sentiment. Home gyms have just been ever since I got a home gym, it's just made things so much easier for me to stay relatively fit, right? I mean, it especially I'm full on in a in the tech career and working for a startup and stuff like that. It takes a lot of your time and a lot of your capacity. I'm also a father, so I have two kids, and I don't want to take away from their experience of life and everything. So yeah, having the ability to quickly go in and just get a workout in, even though I might spend 45 minutes in the garage working out, that's 45 minutes less time than it would have taken me to go to travel somewhere and work out and then come back. So it's hugely efficient when it comes to time, and I love that aspect of it. I also love that it's my own space, right? I get to kind of determine what equipment is in there, and if I want to go get more equipment or whatever or add it to it, I don't have to request it at a gym or anything like that. I can search out and find whatever equipment I want to bring into my gym and do it,
Yeah,
relative to
that's if
the
your wife
size.
says yes, right?
Yes, yeah, right, yeah. It generally is that's the final sign off, right? I got to send it up to the boss and get approval. But yeah, for the most part, I get to choose exactly what's out there and it's choose my fitness, which is great. And then yeah, I'm sure everybody that listens to this podcast is aware of the conveniences of a home gym or of a personal fitness studio, but it can't be understated from that standpoint. It just and during COVID and when everything was locked down, it just was so much more valuable than I could have ever imagined, because every single big box. I live in Washington State, and in Washington State there was a lot of lockdowns, and they locked down for a long time, and it was pretty strict, and so gyms were closed for most of the time, and then when they were opened they were limited to how many people could be in there, so it was really tough to get a time slot to go into a gym and everything. So being able to just sit at home and work out was really nice, and yeah, and that's kind of where the concept of GoRX Fitness even was born, was from that standpoint of my friends and family were coming by and working out and getting workouts in and everything. And I thought, oh, this is something that could be translatable and monetized to a point where, other people in the neighborhood could come work out for a fee or anything like that. And I could create it as a business. And so, yeah. And then I found
And
Andrew
I think that business model is genius. I was thinking about something like that during COVID as well. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw you guys were doing it already, and I was all right. Well, they did it.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to run with it, right? But we're trying to do it the right way. I think that there's been other iterations of this idea, and there's been other companies out there that have tried to do this, but I think they approach it from the kind of quick side hustle that it, from a quick side hustle concept where, GoRX wants to help people build an actual business and build themselves as a brand and build themselves as a community within their area and within their locality. And so, we want to help people create something that is sustainable instead of just a quick side hustle thing where they can try to see if people might want to come by for a fee or whatever. And so, and you kind of have to be that way, especially nowadays with how litigious people are. You could get sued pretty easily if you don't take the right measures and go through the correct steps to stop some of that that risk, or at least mitigate that risk and bring it down as far as possible. And so, when you don't take those steps, it's really risky from the standpoint of your personal assets and your home and people coming in and different elements like that. And so, yeah, that's one thing we at GoRX, we pride ourselves on making sure that we help people do things the right way and build the community the right way, get connected to people in their area the right way, and then also just mitigate risk, create waivers, all of that stuff. And it gets housed in the platform and make it really convenient for them. So, yeah, we're proud of what we do, and we're working hard to try to bring it to as many people as possible. But yeah,
Well, on
getting
the other
back
side, it
to
seems like you guys are doing great. So
thank you,
I
thank you.
commend you for that.
Yeah, getting back to kind of home gyms and that concept. What do you think? What does the future look like for you when it comes to home gyms? I mean, do you believe that it's going to continue expanding like it's been, especially as everything kind of cools down from COVID and the kind of COVID lockdown regime? Do you expect that to continue going forward, or pull back?
So what I think will happen, and it'll take time. What I think is that there's kind of a debt, like in the coming years for home gyms, but as the Gen Z generation starts to like turn to their 30s and get them homes and like start like actually working out at home, I think because we're all more prone to like remote work and like just being at home more. I think the home space in general will be a place where you can do much more than you can today. And I think that'll like the types of home gyms as well will change. I think smart weights is
Yep.
obviously on the rise. But I think that there are also going to be like old school, weight like just using gravity people as
Mhm.
well. And then obviously like everyone that's looking into Pilates and body weights and calisthenics. So um, I think I think you'll get to a point where it'll be a 50-50 for smart weights and traditional. I think
Yeah.
as we get further along and smart weights become more affordable, it'll become more of a smart weight community.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening for another 30 to 40 years. So yeah, that's where I see the home gym space. I think that's gonna be a dip, and then there's a new generation that's gonna come in. We're
Mhm.
gonna see a rise again. Um, so that's my take. I haven't done extensive research on it, but
No,
that's
of
where I
course.
think it's going.
Yeah, no, of course. I appreciate that. I kind of echo that sentiment from the standpoint of, I think that smart weight technology and that kind of new wave will take over eventually, and I'm excited for what that brings and what kind of technology comes out of kind of this first iteration of smart weights and everything. And I think that'll be cool. Yeah, I think from a home gym perspective, I think that it will obviously ebb and flow and everything. I think that because of how autonomous the autonomy that home gyms bring to people, especially as individuals are able to carry roles, remote roles, and live further away and have the ability to live outside of the general population of cities and stuff like that. I think that, yeah, it's going to continue to stay relevant just because it's going to be necessary. I also think it's over time going to be more and more necessary as we see how much impact fitness and being physical actually has on mental health, on overall generalized health, and overall mortality and everything. I think that it's starting to become clear that there's not going to be just this prescription that gets applied to people where they can just take a pill and have all that stuff in their bodies be fixed, right? I think that we're seeing more and more how important physical fitness is and how important it is to work out. And then if that's the case and we see that demand continue to rise, I think that it's only going to be natural that home gyms continue to rise as well, because people are more and more at home and they get to keep their time to themselves, which I think is one of the more important aspects from my standpoint of why I have a home gym and why I wanted a home gym even 10 years ago, 8 years ago when I first started buying my equipment. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. I
I'm
agree.
excited for it. I'm excited for the transformations that take place. I'm really excited about all the innovation that we got to see at Home Gym Con, right? And then the innovation that I think will come next year as all these different companies got to get together and collaborate and everything. I think it's really cool. I think, let's
Yeah, no,
see,
that's great.
I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to somebody about the difference between Home Gym Con 1 and Home Gym Con 2. From a size perspective, it was massive comparatively, but it was really cool to see how companies that got linked up at Home Gym Con 1 and then they came to Home Gym Con 2 with these different products and collaborations and everything. And I thought it was really cool to see the network effect of the different companies getting together in person and having their people have the ability to iterate ideas off of each other and kind of come up with these collaborations that I think are going to be what drives innovation forward. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Like, for example, if I remember correctly, Bulletproof Fitness, Jay, I know I keep remember Exponent Edge. I keep remembering his name, but not the name of the company.
Jay Benoit.
Exponent
Jay
Edge.
Benoit
Yeah.
at Exponent Edge. Yep.
Yeah, and then I didn't know the last guy personally, the guy with the deer like logo. I remember they
I can't remember.
collaborated. And I wanted to check out their stuff. Like the bulletproof isolator was there obviously, but
Yep.
they were showing their new products. I didn't really understand it because I think Jay was talking to his engineer, and I didn't know what it was doing. But
Yeah.
that's just an example of like three companies coming together to innovate together on a new product. I thought that was really cool. I talked to what are they called, Synergy. Synergy, we had a great connection there. Obviously, you guys. I talked to PRX, Rogue, Rep. Might get some like wholesale there. I think that'd be great to like get the word out. And I think that's a great opportunity for me. And I learned a lot from like Titan Fitness, for example, getting to talk to their people. ATX, I had no idea ATX was so big in Europe.
Yeah, neither did I.
It was just amazing. Amazing to meet all these people,
Yeah, it was awesome to see. I don't even think I'd heard of ATX prior to going to Home Gym Con. And, I'm in the industry, but I just didn't pay attention to companies that don't necessarily, that didn't ship to the US market and didn't, or very often ship to the US market. And so I thought it was really cool to see them. It was awesome to see how big their booth was and them getting Rookie of the Year last year was really cool to see. And I'm excited they're coming back to Home Gym Con 25, and so I'm excited to see what they bring and see see what kind of transformation they make between this year and next year. And I'm really excited to just see what collaborative innovations come from this year's Home Gym Con being so much bigger to next year's Home Gym Con and what products come out of it, because I'm really excited. Like, I'm excited for when the Rep Fitness, the Pepin adjustable dumbbells, when those start shipping. I'm really excited for those. I really like that. That being able to hold them in my hand, it really sold me on what they can do. And I was not really terribly impressed by adjustable dumbbells prior to that. I've held adjustable dumbbells before, like Power Blocks and some of these others, and Nuobel, and they didn't feel as solid to me as what those Rep Pepin.
I mean, they're fully metal, and you can
Yeah.
just sense it. Like,
Yep.
it's just hard, just pure metal.
Yep.
I think that's definitely something you've got on other brands. It's just that when you hold it, like obviously, like there's a little tolerance because there has to be a little tolerance.
Yep.
But you just feel like this is just, even if you try, I don't think you can break it. So
Absolutely. No, I agree. I think I'm really excited for that. I think that that helps you, 10 to 120 pounds regular dumbbells would take up so much space, and I'm sure
yeah,
everybody out there listening knows the advantages of adjustable dumbbells, but that just seems like when they're that well made and that rugged, I think that just steps up the adjustable dumbbell game to a whole nother level, and I'm really excited about that.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Um,
My former favorite was the new bells.
yeah.
And the power blocks, obviously, because
Mhm.
I mean, I trained with them and they're just phenomenal. But when I got that, when I felt it, I was kind of like skeptical of how like the hype. But
Yep.
when I actually picked it up, I was like, I understand the hype. Like this
Yeah.
is another level.
Yeah, I was kind of in my mind set on adding a full suite of rubber hex dumbbells in my garage gym, in my microgym, and was ready to kind of pull the trigger and figure out which brand I wanted to go with. And then when I got to hold the Rep Pepin adjustable dumbbells, I was just like, okay, well now I got to reconsider what I was thinking of ordering, and now maybe I'm just going to order these Rep Pepin dumbbells. So
Yeah, nice.
I'm excited for when they start to ship and I start to get to see, some reviews come out and stuff like that. I think I'm going to end up pulling the trigger on those and buying a pair.
Very nice.
Yeah, let's see what else excites you about next year's Home Gym Con. Uh, what are some of the companies that you think are going to be the most innovative coming out next year?
Well, probably one of the ones that's kept secret. I'd be interested in seeing like if some of the smart weight companies come. There weren't a lot of them this year. I'd be interested to like have Beyond Power to come, for example.
Yep.
I think it'd be good to have since they're probably such high ticket. It'd be good for people to try it out in bulk. I think that'd be great. But that said, I think like for everyone like myself who's like this was our first home gym con, like this, since it was my first home gym, I didn't know what to expect. Like, I didn't expect to sell anything to anyone. But I should have, for example.
Yeah.
So I wasn't ready for that. And I think next year I'll come very much more prepared.
Yeah.
To sell and teach, and I'll have more than one product as well. So
Yeah.
I think that's the most like exciting thing to me. Is like I won't feel like a complete rookie, and I kind of know what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm headed. I'll have like this year. I just had like I left class and then I went to Home Gym Con. That's how I got there. So I just kind of brought like
awesome.
all my prototypes and like a little wooden logo.
Yeah.
But like next year I'll have like a full rack with
That's
barbells,
awesome.
so you can actually try the equipment and like showcase it. So that's where I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
And then for like just innovative equipment, I wouldn't be surprised if ATX comes back with some more innovative equipment. Obviously, I know Rep, Rogue, and Titan.
Yeah.
And even Bells of Steel will come back with some pretty cool stuff. Fringe Fitness with their new, what's it called?
Yep.
The new functional trainer stash.
Yeah, what was that called? No, not the Athena. That's Rep, right?
No, I'm not too
now I
sure,
wanna
but
look it up. Yeah, Fringe. I can't remember.
No, but that thing is nice. That thing is nice. But it's just creating a mass. I feel like it's just so much competition now with every brand having their own version. So
yeah, it's
kudos to them.
just it does feel like there's this innovation kind of explosion happening right now, where you get to see just so many of these companies come with such innovative stuff, but then The Dane. That's what it was called. The Dane.
Yes.
The half rack
Yes,
functional
the Dane.
trainer. Yes. Yeah. It's really cool to see just how much the competition between all of these companies is driving that innovation forward, but then they're not it just with each other through that innovation. I think that's really cool too, is that they're all lifting each other up with the innovation and the collaboration and all of that. And I think that's a really cool thing to see in the market today.
Or at least we don't see the fighting.
That's true, I guess. Yeah.
There might be a little fighting, but
I'm sure there is, and I'm sure there's some jealousy and some and the competitive aspect is always going to be there, right? But yeah, it's cool to see that they're all supporting each other from the standpoint of wanting to just grow this business and grow this industry, and I love getting to see that. Yeah,
I agree.
Let's see. We're coming up on time here. I think that we can wrap this up. I really appreciate you joining me, Eliott. This has been awesome. It's been really cool getting to know you. It's awesome to get to see you again. I know we got to speak for just a very short time at Home Gym Con, but getting to understand your background and everything is really awesome. I'm excited for where UClips is going. I'm so excited, and congratulations again on getting yourself to where you're full time into UClips. I think that's such an important step and such an awesome step in this journey of yours. And yeah, thank you for joining me today and providing some of that insight and some of that background on how you built this and everything. So
I appreciate you having me. It was great. It was great to talk home gym. It's not every day that I get to talk home gym with everyone around me.
Yeah, so. That's right. You'll get to do it more now that you're full time.
Yes.
So I'm excited for that too. Yeah.
That was
well,
awesome.
Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it.
Thank you everyone for tuning in and listening to this podcast. This has been the Gyms Near Me podcast, brought to you by GoRX Fitness. And if you ever do decide to turn your microgym into a microgym business, please reach out to GoRX Fitness. We will help you do it the right way, and we'll help you do it in an easy way or an efficient way that makes things as easy as possible to run your microgym business. And you can reach us at gorxfitness.com or our Instagram at gorxfitness. And this has been my episode with Eliott Ekindi from UClips. Eliott, go ahead and share where everyone can get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go to uclips.co, we're running a sale right now. So you can get two for $60, and that would have been this low. And so hope you like the product if you try it. And thank you guys for listening.
Awesome. All right. Thanks a lot, Eliott. Have a good rest of your day.
Absolutely. You too, Trevor.